City Council. Madam Clerk, will you please call roll?
Councilmember Breitigam.
Here.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Here.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Here.
Councilmember Kim Nguyen.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Deidre Nguyen.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here.
And Councilmember Bowie is absent.
Thank you. Can I ask Assistant City Manager Maria Stipe to lead us in the invocation, and then Councilmember Klopfenstein to do the pledge?
Everybody, please stand and prepare yourselves according to your faith. Dear Lord, we humbly ask that you bless everyone gathered here this evening and the work that we seek to do. Help us to collaborate and work in harmony as we strive to make the best decisions for our community. Purify our intentions, strengthen our purpose, and grant that in serving our community, we may also serve you. Amen.
Amen. Please place the flag, put your hand over your heart, repeat after me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, thank you. We'll start with, before we start with, I'm going to take a pause for a matter to be moved up from Scott Stiles to make a couple introductions.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. I always like to introduce to the council members some of our new employees that we've recently hired. And I'd like to introduce two of them to you. They're going to be senior members of our finance department, division managers. And the first person that could maybe stand up is Tina No. So just to let you know, Tina joined the city of Garden Grove in 2021, December. She is our new revenue supervisor overseeing utility billing, customer service receivables, general cashiering, and business tax. She came to us from the private sector. She's got over 10 years of experience in revenue management. Tina speaks fluent Vietnamese. She enjoys traveling, camping, spending time with her husband and two boys. She has a Bachelor of Science degree from Woodbury University in Burbank in accounting and a minor in community systems. And so we wanted to welcome Tina to our city. She is a resident of Garden Grove, so her commute just got a little bit shorter. So welcome, Tina. Thank you. And if I could have Nancy Ramos please stand. Nancy joined the city in January of this year. She has over 4 years of municipal experience. She most recently worked for the city of Linwood and before that for the county of Orange. She is a CPA with a master's in accounting from Cal State University Fullerton. On her time off, she enjoys being creative and spending time with her children. Nancy has been a resident of Garden Grove since she was in elementary school, where she still lives and calls Garden Grove her home. So I wanted to introduce both of these women to you, and when you see them around City Hall, please feel free to welcome them. So we're thrilled to have them here. So thank you. And I told them after that they could leave if they needed to.
Okay, that will take us on to presentations, and we do have one listed tonight, so we'll go to item 1A. Go ahead. This is the information on the 47th Annual Americana Awards, as presented by Executive Director Howard
here.
Kummerman of the Cypress College Foundation. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today. Do you see the presentation? Oh. Let's see.
You can see it, okay.
Oh, you have it there. Okay, I don't see it up there, so I didn't know. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I see it. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having us. I'm here with Jenny Moore, who we'll talk about in just a moment. I want to thank the Garden Grove community, the City Council, the residents for helping to support Cypress College in our Americana Awards for so many years. You have 45 Citizens of the Year that we've honored over our 47-year history. You see on the screen, I'm not changing slides. Oh. There we go. We have more than 819 students at Cypress College just this semester alone, and you can almost double that when we get back into the fall semester. So you have a lot of students that are residents of Garden Grove coming to Cypress College. We give away nearly $400,000 in scholarships each year to all of our students, and many of your Garden Grove students are recipients of that. This is the reason that we put on the Americana Awards, to raise money for scholarships, emergency funds, and other programs at Cypress College. So it's a very important event for us. I also want to thank Susan Lerma and the Garden Grove City Committee for their efforts to select our honorees, like Ginny, and help us with all of our outstanding Citizens of the Year. As you can see up there, there's your Citizen of the Year from last year, Damian Lorton, and underneath you can see all of our citizens for this year. And of course, we're going to be recognizing Ginny this year, along with our Man of the Year, Chief Brian Fennessy from the Orange County Fire. Cool. Let's see if this works. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Ginny Moore, and I'm the honoree for the Citizen of the Year for the Americana Awards, and I'd like to invite everyone to attend.
You hear it from the woman herself. Now you can't say no, right? Well, this is your honoree, Ginny, and she's been involved with so many things in Garden Grove, and of course, you know she's a resident. She's been involved with the Women's Club, the PTA at Stanley Elementary School, the Garden Grove Unified School District, the Women's Auxiliary for the Arthritis Foundation as a past board member, and of course, many positions and much involvement with the Garden Grove Lions Club. But I'm not going to tell you any more because you have to come to the Americana Awards to hear her full story, to see her full video, and to join us and hear about all of the honorees. It's going to be, there we go, on March 26th in the Grand Ballroom. We are so happy to be in person. It's the perfect time to come out and join us for a formal gala and a fabulous dinner at the Disneyland Hotel. You've been very supportive in the past. We invite you to join us with a table, to help us out with an auction item basket like you always have done before. And of course, you'll be able to place the city ad for Garden Grove in the Americana program as you have in the past to promote Ginny and anything else that you'd like to do in a two-page spread in the program as well. We also have, as we have in many past years, a fabulous opportunity drawing that we hope you take advantage of. We have 2 electric bicycles as well as many other prizes that are going to be available, prizes worth up to $10,000. And so it's always a great opportunity drawing. So with that, I want to thank you for allowing us to be here today and to welcome and honor Ginny as she joins us for this auspicious event, and hope that you'll join us on March 26th. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Alrighty, next is oral communications. So we'll open up oral. We have 2 speaker cards, starting with Tom Raber.
Hi, I'm Tom Raber. This is the 4th council meeting of 2022. First time the seats have been used. Other than that, they've been dusty. I saw a miracle this last Sunday at the Super Bowl. Could not believe what I saw. I saw people without masks. Those 100,000 N95 masks that were placed on the seats. The masks for the players, staff that's on the field were gone. And then I realized what they did. They watched Mayor Garcetti's briefing, and they held their breath for 4.5 hours while they ate and drank. The question is there a California emergency right now? If there was, the Super Bowl would have been canceled. So there is none. All these local governments and bigger governments are playing with we the people. Sadly, Garden Grove is one of them. You guys sit at your home restaurant, at least the last two meetings, Steve Jones being at the city hall. What does that mean? That means that we, the people, don't see you. Who are you with? Are you having a serial meeting? That's the whole thing about the Browns Act, is for the public to see the elected officials run properly and show everything, and that famous word, be transparent. And that is not happening here. Under the Browns Act, it's been changed for teleconferencing numerous times. I have the 2019, but of course they changed it in 2020, they changed it in 2021. The question is, per the 2021, is there emergency? Simple word, is there? And there is not. I've come to these meetings and asked, who's your doctor? So for you guys to say that there's an emergency, that you guys do not have to be here in public for a public meeting, where's the data? Where is the data and who's this doctor? Other than that, I'm gonna beat this 3-minute clock. I'm glad you guys are back. Hopefully the house cleaning crew cleaned up the dust. But you guys have to think. It's real simple for us, we the people, to get rid of you. Very simple. Thank you.
Leland Sisk.
Mr. Mayor, council members, city staff, long time no see. I think it's been about 2 years, something like that. I have only one purpose in being here tonight, and that's to say thanks. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Mayor Pro Tem. Thanks to the city council. Thanks to the staff, city staff, and most of all, thanks to the people that you work for the city that you almost never see, people that aren't here, people that read the meters, the people that come out and do the public works, take care of our streets. During this entire pandemic, I've been watching from afar. I've been watching on TV. I've been looking at the city budgets. Haven't found any mistakes lately. But I just want to say thanks. I think everybody has done a great job. If I had it in my power to give everyone who works for the city of Garden Grove a pay raise, I would do so. However, I've got a few Starbucks coupons, and maybe that'll work. So I just want to say thanks. I think everybody's done a fantastic job. I don't know what more you could have done to make it any better. So, thank you very kindly.
Cool, thank you, sir. Alrighty, that's all the cards I have. Is there anyone else wishing to speak who did not turn in a pink card? Okay, with that, we will close oral communications and conduct other agency bodies. So we'll go to successor agency. What's that? Sure, okay, we'll go to housing.
Okay. You call, roll call vote, or roll call, please.
Commissioner Jones,
Here.
Commissioner Klopfenstein,
Here?
Commissioner Deidre Nguyen,
Here.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Here.
and Vice Chair Kim Nguyen,
Here.
and Chair Brightingham.
Here.
And Commissioners Beckles and Tindock and Bowie are absent.
So we had oral communications along with council, so we will go to consent. We'll entertain a motion.
I'll move the consent calendar.
I'll second.
We can actually.
Oh, that's right. We can vote right now. Wow.
I missed that screen.
Is it gonna go up there?
Okay,
They pop it up?
He's crossing his fingers, maybe.
motion received,
years.
6 yes votes. With Commissioners
Non's a hero.
Beckles and Tindock and Bowie absent.
Hey, that's the first time we've seen that in probably 3 years, right?
Yep.
Yes, all right, good. All right, do we have any matters from commissioners?
No.
Hearing none, we'll recess back to council. Our next meeting of the Housing Authority will be Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022.
Great. Liz, would you like to put a successor now?
Yeah.
Okay. Madam Clerk, will you please call roll for successor agency?
Member Brightigam.
Here.
Member O'Neill.
Here.
Member DeJoewin.
Here.
Member Klopfenstein.
Here.
Member Kimwin.
Here.
Vice Chair Bowie is absent, and Chair Jones.
Here. Okay, we already did oral communications. Consent items, just receive and file. Can I get a motion?
A motion. I'll second. Love it.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Great. Any matters from successor agency members? Seeing none, we will adjourn, and I'll hand it over to Sanitary District.
Thank you very much. I'd like to call the sanitary district meeting to order. If you could call roll, please.
Member Brightigam.
Here.
Member Bowie is absent. Member Jones.
Here.
Member Klopfenstein.
Here.
Member Kim Nguyen.
Here.
Vice President Deidre Nguyen.
Here.
And President O'Neill.
Here. Thank you very much. We've already done oral communications. We have 3 consent items. Those will be acted on simultaneously unless someone pulls one. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Okay.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. And please vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Thank you very much. Any matters from any board members? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn the sanitary district meeting till the next meeting, which would be Tuesday, March 22nd, in this room at 6:30.
Alrighty, thank you. We will reconvene City Council, and that takes us on to consent items. Recommended that items 3A through 3D be acted on simultaneously unless anyone would like to pull an item. Can we get a motion for?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Okay.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Alrighty, so we're completed with that. I have a silly question. We're supposed to do this next one exactly at 7 o'clock? That's a thing? Like, do we
Yes,
do
that's
something else
correct.
first and come back?
Yes, we have to
Okay.
wait till 7.
Okay, we're gonna skip
4
4,
more
go to
minutes.
5. So we'll do items for consideration. We gotta get it done in 5 minutes. So 5A.
5A is award of contract to All Cities Engineering, Inc. for project number CP 1285000, Allwood Avenue and Anthony Avenue Water Improvement Project. And Mr. Murray is here to provide the presentation.
5 minutes on the nose.
Thank you, Mr. Pomeroy. Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Tonight, City Council is being asked to award a contract to All Cities Engineering Incorporated, and that is to improve the flyer flow capacity in the areas along Allwood Avenue from Gilbert Street to the end of the street, and Anthony Avenue from Josephine Street to Magnolia Street, and Acacia Avenue from Josephine Street to Magnolia Street. In general, this is a water line replacement project. The work will include the construction of about 1,200 linear feet of 12-inch, 120 linear feet of 10-inch, and 3,000 linear feet of 8-inch diameter polyvinyl chloride pipe, or just PVC pipe, and it's all domestic water line. It includes the construction of required hydrants and water service connections. All of this work is to be completed at a cost of almost $1.6 million. Staff received and opened 10 bids on January 13th of this year and determined All City Engineering Incorporated to be the lowest responsible bidder. Should council decide to award the contract tonight, the contractor can begin work in April and should be complete by the end of summer. This project will be paid for using water funds. This concludes staff's report, and I'm available should you have any questions.
Bill, any questions?
Move it.
I'll second it.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Alrighty. Well, that was good. So we'll pause for 2 minutes until we start exactly at 7 o'clock for the public hearing item.
Yay.
No. Just got one.
Alrighty, it is exactly 7 o'clock. So we'll reconvene and go to item 4A. We'll open public hearings, item 4A. This is a public hearing regarding the redistricting process post-2020 census.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Tonight, the City Council is asked to receive a report on draft City Council district maps, then conduct the third public hearing pertaining to the redistricting process, and finally provide direction regarding a proposed ordinance to readopt the draft map, which is the current City Council district map, or an alternate proposed map. As you know, local governments must use new census data to update their city council district lines to reflect how populations have changed after each decennial census. In compliance with federal law, the city council districts are required to be nearly equal in population, and cities are required to engage their communities in the redistricting process by holding public hearings, conducting workshops, and doing public outreach. Consistent with our prior public hearings, we have both Vietnamese and Spanish translators with us here this evening, and they're able to assist anybody who may need translation services who might be here at the meeting tonight. Also, the city's consultant, Dave Ely of Compass Demographics, who's guiding the city's redistricting process, is with us this evening remotely. And he's going to provide a report on the draft map, which is the current City Council district map. And he's also going to provide information about a new district map proposal that we recently received from the Garden Grove Redistricting Committee. A copy of the new district map proposal is available at all of your seats. You should have a hard copy of that map. And copies are also available for the public at the table out in the front as you come in to the council chambers, and also for the city who may be interested in viewing that map. It's available on our redistricting webpage, so easily accessible from our front page of the city homepage. I'm now going to turn the presentation over to Dave Ely, and he's going to provide his report.
Hello. Hopefully you can see my screen. I can't see anything, but I can hear you. Basically, what I'm going to show in this presentation is just the information about the current council districts, which we're treating as a draft for the new council districts, as well as a plan that was submitted by the Garden Grove Redistricting Committee, I believe they're called. So basically, the existing districts with the 2020 population are within the acceptable limits for population. So there's no reason based on the population for us to necessarily change anything. And so this table shows the general information about the districts. All right, sorry, my keyboard's not working right. This map shows the existing districts and the population deviations within each district. We have a table that shows what the deviations were based on the 2010 census, the official numbers from the 2020 census, and then the state adjusted numbers from the 2020 census. And so the deviation has increased slightly from what it was with the 2010 data, but not enough to cause any significant problems. We also have this table which shows the breakdowns of the total population, the voting age population, and the citizen voting age population. The information, the citizen voting age, is what's used for voting rights analysis. And you can see we have one district that is District 6 has over 50% Latino citizen voting age population. and districts 3 and 4 both have over 50% Asian citizen voting age population. I also have included some socioeconomic characteristics on this table. I'm not going to try and go through those, but you have them to look at. Then we have this new map that was submitted. I believe that I received it on Friday. I'm showing the districts with the population deviations from my data, which seem to match what the proponents reported. Everything about this map is legal as far as I can see. District 6 is pretty much the same as the current District 6. The others have changed somewhat. I'm hoping that the proponent of the map will provide testimony with more detail. I have provided a table that has the same basic information as I have for the current districts. So, you know, that data is available to compare. And I think that is all of my presentation, unless there are questions for me.
Any questions? All righty. Thank you, David.
Okay.
Right, what's next? Yeah.
So that concludes staff's and Dave Ely's presentation. So now it's recommended that the city council would conduct the third public hearing to receive public input on the district boundaries. And then after the public hearing, then we'd like you to provide direction regarding the proposed ordinance to readopt the draft map or an alternate map proposal.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will open the public hearing. I do have one speaker card, so I'd like to call up Roberto Herrera.
Hello, Mayor and City Council. My name is Roberto. I'm with Resilience Orange County. And we were actually going to have more public comment, but when we clicked on the Zoom, it was for the 28th or the February 8th. So on the little flyer that you all posted, it said all public hearings and public workshops will be held at the Garden Grove Community Meeting Center here and via Zoom. So that was just like the one meeting. So Dorothy, I had worked with Dorothy to kind of like go over the data that we had gone over to prepare this report for you all. I think data-driven information is good, so just trying to go over this information with you in regards to the apartments. That was one area of this report that we really wanted to highlight and for you all to consider, the two distinct concentrations of apartments, and so, meriting and taking that into consideration. The other area was the area for mobile home parks, so this is the one that I kind of wrote. So on the map, you can see the kind of two distinct areas where mobile home parks are concentrated. So, really taking into consideration these two groupings for the city as a whole to consider the mobile home park. So for this, we recommend having two distinct districts, to have those interests at heart. The next one was the Latino population. So, it's a really cool map there. It shows most of the population. The Latino population is on the east side of the city with small pockets in the north and west. Mostly on the east side, the west side along Harbor Boulevard, and then also along the 22 freeway on the north and southbounds. So, really thinking about having a strong Latino district is important. This third data point is in relationship to the Vietnamese community. So you can see there the gradation as you go more south, it gets darker in concentration. So we're advocating for two distinct Vietnamese districts, one to encompass the southern part of, underneath the 22 freeway, and then on top of the 22 freeway. And then as a summary, this kind of, we map out the different types of data as it relates to each of the districts. With District A maintaining the integrity of an affluent, long-time single-family homeowner community. District B creates a compact district that keeps high-density single-family homeowners in northern Garden Grove. District C creates a Federal Voting Rights Act district with a second highest concentration of the Asian population, the voting. And then District D creates the highest concentration with District E and F following in those, and you can see that information there. So we really try to take a data-driven approach to offer you options, that you can consider. We had more people going to tune in today, but with no Zoom, it was difficult to kind of provide their testimony. So imagine if I had maybe more speakers, joining, then that's what, their participation would look like. But thank you all so much.
Thank you. That was the only card I had. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak that did not turn in a card, specifically on the redistricting item? Okay. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. And I'll turn to my colleagues.
Mayor, the only comment that I have is I'm a little disappointed to see that the call-in function is not working. When we posted on social media 9 hours ago, it said that the option to call in by phone would be allowed. So the fact that it's not working right now is kind of a disservice to this process. I imagine there would be a lot more speakers for this public hearing if that function was available. So at this time, I can't particularly give direction for one or the other, simply because we're not hearing from the public. And I would like, maybe not for the next meeting, but at least I would like more time for myself to reach out to folks and hear their ideas on this proposed map. I haven't had a lot of time to fully digest it, but from what I see, I'm not particularly against it. I just want to get some community feedback. There's definitely elements to this map that I hadn't considered previously. I would have liked to see something where it would have adjusted the deviation in my district, since my district is the furthest away from the highest district, but I knew that wasn't going to be accomplished in order to keep the Latino majority. But the main comment I have tonight is just disappointed that that call-in function is not working.
Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead, George.
Yeah, I want to, give the group kudos for putting together this map. About 6 years ago, we went through this district process for the first time, and quite frankly, this was one of the maps, if I recall right, or very similar to this, that was one of the ones that was proposed 6 years ago when we initially went to districts. I agree with Councilwoman Nguyen. Honestly, I'd like to move that we bring back both next meeting, so we could pick whichever one at the next meeting, because we ought to make a decision next meeting, but I'd like to give staff direction to bring back resolutions of support on both of them. That way we can pick one or the other next meeting. I too would like to hear more. They obviously put a lot of work into this, and it's great. I know the community kind of rejected it last time, but maybe now there's a change of opinion, who knows? So I'd like to make a motion that we bring both maps back for consideration at the next meeting.
I'd second it, although I think I made the motion for it, but it's okay.
Okay.
Any other commentary, or are we good with that? Okay, we have a motion and a second to bring both back for consideration next meeting.
Can I just ask, can we clarify, are we going to be providing call-in at the future meeting, or is that going to stop now that we're in person? Because that was explicitly listed in our social media post for this meeting, and it's not provided.
Right. Let me ask our IT staff if we're capable in the council chambers to do the call-in with the public, to do that. Yes. Yes. Okay. Then yes, we will have call-in at the next meeting.
I guess, Mayor, and to Councilmember Nguyen's question, I just want to make sure that it's the direction of council to have that call-in function at the next meeting.
Just for the public, this particular item, right? We're not going to take just general over the phone. We'd be here all night, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we just go back to our kind of in-person rules?
That's what I think we should, if we're going to be here, we have plenty of notice to the next meeting that it's going to be here in this chamber at the, why not be here if you're that involved in the
Normally, I would 100% agree with you, but the fact that the call-in didn't work this time, and we advertised it that it would work and they could call in, there might be folks who were, banking on giving us a phone call. I mean, I know it's gonna make a little longer meeting, but I think we owe it to them to, just in this one particular case, not as a routine, thing.
Is that doable?
I think the director of IT would like to make a comment.
Yes,
So the link that our consultant used, Davey Lee, that was the same link that's always been open. So we didn't get any callers. So
so it did work.
It was available, but our process was to not take callers this meeting. We just didn't have that on our social media post, on the website, and on the council agenda that's on the website. All instructions about calling in had been removed. We just did not do it on the social media post, but no one called in.
Okay, so the phone was available.
It was available, but David was the only one who called in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So does that,
So I concur with Steve on that one. We didn't put it out there then.
let's
I
bring
would
them.
just play devil's advocate because it's clear that folks were trying to call in but didn't know how to do so, and it was advertised as such on our social media, and then we didn't provide the information for it. Secondly, I mean, I'm vaccinated, I'm boosted, I've had COVID, so I feel extra safe, but there are people at home who have not had COVID, who are maybe missing a shot or two, I don't know, that don't feel comfortable coming in person. I would just say that I would allow for the opportunity to take phone callers, and yeah, that might drag out our meeting a little longer, which not necessarily something I want, but at the end of the day, we're here to get public input and allow for that. So if we have to be here longer because of a result of us making it more accessible for our residents, I'm not opposed to that. But if you disagree, feel free to say so. I'm just pointing out that I would like to see the call-in function available at the next meeting.
We had a motion in a second. We should vote on that, and then we can decide the other issue, right? Or do we need to do it?
Well, that should all just be kind of packaged into it, I would think.
If we
I don't
decide
have
to
any-
allow the phone, I just want to make sure, I apologize. I just want to make sure that we stipulate that it's just for this public hearing item and it's not for general oral communication purposes moving forward. So I think that would need to be added into that so that we understand it's just for this item, maybe even just for this next meeting specifically. And then
I agree.
moving forward, you have to be here in person.
My only problem is, we're already accepting the maps, and we're going to bring them both with resolutions to maybe approve either one at the next meeting. And we're going to be here in 2 weeks. I'm just not sure why, and no one called in. I don't know why we just don't get it, approach it at the next meeting, and everybody has an opportunity to be here and speak.
But I think the issue is social media, which is where a lot of people get their information, says you can call in, and then they go to the agenda and there's no information to call in. So that's contradictory to what we stated somewhere. Regardless if it was what we were going to do or not, we put it somewhere, and it was a mistake on staff that shouldn't have put on there if you didn't want people calling in. But if it was on there, we should have then provided that information. So it was a mess up on our end, and allow for to kind of mitigate that situation. I would allow for call-in specifically for the next meeting for this public hearing addressing the two maps that are being
Well, I have a
proposed.
question for staff then. On that social media post that didn't get redacted, was there a telephone number on there?
No, there was not.
Okay, so it was a kind of a mistake.
I have
So-
no problem with that.
I concur with what Kim said. I think we should provide it for next time.
Specifically for this item, and specifically because there was sort of a technical glitch in terms of.
I can compromise to that, but I think that the call-in function is a way to allow for folks to participate virtually who do not feel comfortable coming in person. And I know many other cities are still allowing for the call-in function, and Garden Grove was extremely late, as in just this past couple of virtual meetings and allowing call-in function. We worked 2 years without allowing that. So I would just ask that you all take that into consideration. While we all feel comfortable being here, that's not the case for a lot of our residents. But if the compromise, because I'm seeing that folks are not interested in allowing for a call-in function, is to just do it for this public hearing, then I'll compromise for that.
And I'll amend my motion to also include that we allow call-in for that item.
I'll accept it in second.
Okay. We got a motion and a second. Roll call vote, or call the vote, please. Oh. I was on the wrong screen.
Motion received, 6 yes votes, with Councilmember Bowie absent.
Alrighty, we already did items for consideration, so that takes us to matters. We do actually have one matter listed, item 6A, as requested by City Manager Scott Stiles, statewide temporary emergency drought regulations update and compliance efforts.
Thank you, Ms. Pomeroy, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. The purpose of this report is to receive and file the state's temporary emergency drought regulations that are currently in effect. The state's drought regulations are to ensure water conservation efforts continue, and they plan on this lasting 1 year. Currently, the city is under a Stage 1 Water Watch ordinance, which is part of our ordinance, our municipal code, which acts basically for voluntary conservation. And additionally, we must comply with the state's permanent water conservation measures, which are also in the city's municipal code. Because of these two existing ordinances, the only changes or practical changes of the state's temporary emergency drought regulations will be to make the voluntary regulations mandatory. In addition to that, there is a statement that the state will protect residents from regulations that are imposed by their HOA to water their lawns. So that way that the HOAs cannot go after the residents for complying with the state's emergency order. Other than that, there really isn't a change to this. And that concludes my report, and I'm available should you have any questions.
I have a quick question. In regarding to HOAs, because now that I'm a part of one, I have lots of questions about that. But particular to this, are HOAs informed about the rules about how much they can water? Because many of them in gated communities, like the water is on them. And so will they know that they shouldn't be watering, or can they water, or will they be informed of that information?
We have put out a lot of information regarding our Stage 1 water conservations and it doesn't really affect it, but the ongoing measure through our City Works pamphlet, and we can certainly include additional statements here, but you know they have already been notified, but it's probably prudent to bring it up again. We live in a pretty vigilant community, I'd say, in terms of water conservation. Residents are very good at complying. We really didn't have, when we went through all of the mandatory reductions it was started in like 2014 or so, the last bigger drought that we went through. We met all of our goals, and we really did that without having to hire additional staff to go out and work with people. There were certainly isolated incidences of people that were overwatering. That's just going to happen, but in general, the public was very good in complying. So I will make sure that this information gets out again in our City Works publication, and so as long as they read that.
Right? Everybody, I do. I think along with that too is, one thing I've noticed, not just HOAs, apartments as well, and homes, is that when it's raining, I see sprinklers are still going, and I understand that we get rain every once in a blue moon these days, so people forget, but maybe like when we know it's about to be rainy or cold season, that maybe we're pumping out information on social or wherever else, water bill inserts, just kind of informing our residents to kind of keep an eye on that and adjust as necessary, because obviously rain is much welcome and we need it, but to conserve, the purpose of the rain is to keep the rain, not then put it back out and over water your plants and stuff. So maybe that's just a thought that we could look into. I notice it a lot, especially recently with the rains.
We did that before, once it became more mandatory and we started getting further deep into the drought requirements, we would kind of update, put little reminders out there, it's raining, turn off your sprinklers, things like that. So hopefully we'll get through this drought without too much.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
Yeah, just, we're in stage one of the voluntary compliance thing. Voting on this, we're making this enforceable thing?
Well, actually, the state's already done that for you. This is to basically receive and file their direction.
I got one phone call yesterday, and it kind of piqued my interest too, because I'm a home car washer guy. I don't go to the car wash and and whatnot. I do it in my driveway, and this person was a little livid. I'm not going to be able to wash my car anymore, and I'm like, no, you just got to have a nozzle on your hose,
And a bucket.
And so I think it's good, just common sense things. The things I looked at, watering between don't water between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Limit your watering to 15 minutes. Water runoff into adjoining sidewalks, driveways, street gutter and ditches are prohibited. No washing down hard or paved surfaces, which some of us, that's going to be a little harder than others, but I know I've seen my neighbors out there squirting down their driveway all the time, and and again, the car washing one, no washing of vehicles with a hose except by use of a handheld bucket or a handheld hose equipped with a self-closing water shut-off device. So like a nozzle, right? So it's common sense stuff. I don't think it's that hard. Some people are upset that, if I can't water my grass and it dies and the city's going to, 2 years later, they're going to cite me for having a dead lawn. Unless no, you can still water it. You just have to limit it to 15 minutes per session, right? So anyway, I think it's common sense, and I'm very supportive.
Yeah. So it's just-
Well, we're already under all of these anyhow.
Yeah.
We've gone through this before and much worse, actually.
Okay. Call the vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes, with Councilmember Bowie absent.
Alrighty, matters from council members. George.
For once, I've got nothing.
Oh my! I better hurry up and go. Just one item. We had our successful Garden Grove community cleanup on Saturday. Very successful. I think there was at least 6 or 7 of those big bins filled up. So we'll continue to do that. I had good conversations with not only the residents but all the Republic folks, both the drivers and the management, and everybody says they want to work collectively together to improve things moving forward. And I said, yeah, we need to do that because there's a lot of miscommunication between the residents and the company and vice versa, right? So we all need to do our part to make this work for the residents. So very successful. Thank you. And thank you to the staff and everybody that helped put that together. So council, we got it easy. We go there and we help out when we can, and we do all our business, but it's all coordinated very nicely, and everything is going clickety-click. So thank you so much.
Mayor Pro Tem.
It's good to be back on the dais. So, and I have nothing after that. Thank you.
Thanks. Kim?
Nothing from me. Thank you very much.
All right, great. Yeah, I'll go to General Counsel. keep in mind, we do still have another closed session item we've got to go back and do. We ran out of time before this meeting, but General Counsel.
Yes, we do have, we have two closed session items on the agenda. We were able to complete one of the items, the labor negotiation, and there's no reportable action out of that one. And we do need to go back into closed session to consider the continuity of operations plan for the city.
Great, thank you. City Manager Scott Stiles, anything?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, council members, just I want to reiterate Councilman O'Neill's comments about the cleanup day. I was out there and I was just really thoroughly impressed. I haven't been to all of them, but with our public works staff and all their preparation, partnership with Republic to get it planned. It was at 9 a.m. there were people lined up waiting to head into the school to start doing their drop-offs, and it was really well organized, well managed. We got through there, got people through there quickly, and you know, it's really been a great service that council members have asked us to put together, and so I think it's been a good partnership by all parties involved. I do want to mention the Garden Grove Chamber of Commerce is working, they're already working on the mayor's State of the City speech, and they're looking at a date of July 13th, which will give us a time. We put a lot of work into this event, a lot of preparation, videos, everything else. So this is, they're excited about having this event come back, and we'll be doing work with the chamber. It's one of their big fundraisers of the year. So we're working with them on that. We are working on a study session on pension issues. We were going to do it next Tuesday. I think we're going to try and do it for everybody's schedules this coming Monday, and it'll be a Zoom a meeting, and we'll get all the information out there, put it on our website so people can listen in to that, and we'll be looking for council's feedback on all of that. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Cool, thank you. Before we go into closed session, I do want to say some closing remarks relative to the horrific helicopter crash from the city of Huntington Beach helicopter that crashed, and a couple kind of Garden Grove comments at the end of that. So on Saturday, February 19th, Officer Vela and a second officer were responding to a call for service when their police helicopter crashed off the coast of Newport Beach. Many agencies were dispatched to assist with the rescue effort. Despite heroic efforts, Officer Vela died as a result of his injuries. A second officer involved in the crash has been released from the hospital and faces a long road to recovery. Officer Vela was 44 years old and a 14-year veteran of the Huntington Beach Police Department. He is survived by his wife and daughter. Officer Vela was a United States Marine before starting his police career with the Laguna Beach Police Department. After committing several years to the city of Laguna Beach, Officer Vela took his skill set to the Huntington Beach Police Department, where he instantly began making his reputation as a highly capable and hardworking officer. Officer Vela's achievements quickly landed him on HBPD's coveted SWAT team, and later led to his acceptance to the Aero Bureau. He continued to thrive in his role, where he eventually became a pilot, providing aid across the country. This is a tragic loss, and we offer our condolences to the Vela family, the Huntington Beach Police Department, and the Huntington Beach community. And I just want to add that on the day when that news was coming out and all that was happening, I heard from our city manager, Scott Stiles. I heard from our police chief. We were in communication with their police, with their mayor, and offering whatever assistance we could. We continue to do that. Presumably, their officers may want to attend celebrations of life for Officer Vela. And if there's anything we can do to provide any kind of mutual aid during those timeframes, I just thought that was worth noting, that our city manager and our chief were quick to jump in to say, hey, you know, when one of our men in blue goes down, even in another city, we got to rally and back them up. So with that, we'll close our regular meeting. We do have another closed session item, and then I believe we'll come back in and close it out. Thank you.